Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier and this is Ship Updates. Now, of course, 2 weeks ago we heard that there were two ships being worked on in the UK, two large ships, and I kind of did a little theory crafting and I kind of pointed towards two possibilities, the Prospector and the Hull C, and those were the two that I said were probably a lock. And the Prospector, obviously for mining purposes. The only other possible outlier that I could really justify or think of was the Reclaimer, but of course this week on ATV we saw this ship. Now, if you'll all remember, when this ship here, the Caterpillar, was being worked on, it was also being worked on at the same time as the Herald. Because there was a commonality, both ships were the same manufacturer, Drake, and of course Drake for both of these ships, the Caterpillar and the Drake Herald. And so that, I think, even cements more what I was saying 2 weeks ago, which is I think that the other ship that they're probably working on is the Hull C, this ship here. Now, of course, the Hull C is the middle of the road of the Hull series, being the A, B, C, D, and E. This is firmly stuck in the middle. Both this and the Prospector are both missed ships, of course. So there's going to be commonality of components, and there's going to be, basically shared structures, shared art assets between the two. So it would probably speed up the work on both. And of course, this ship being a great launch off point to do the rest of the Hull series at a later date, TBD. And so, yeah, I think that even cements it even more that the ship that we haven't heard about yet that they're still working on in the UK is probably this ship here, the Hull C. So I would say it's a pretty strong chance that, Hull C owners, those of you out there who own this ship, chances are you might be flying your ship in the not too distant future. Now, I wouldn't look for it, within the next 6 months or so, but I don't know, maybe by the end of the year. But this is still going to be obviously a very complex ship to design, build, animate, and then make work, along with the cargo system that's supposed to be coming up in one of the future updates. So I guess we will have to wait and see, but you know what? If I'm going to say the same thing I said 2 weeks ago, if I had to throw down money on it, if I was forced to, this would be the ship that I would be betting on, the Hull C. Now, of course, it wasn't all good news, because CIG technically committed a travesty upon my soul on ATV as well. Now, the Dragonfly, of course, is not in the patch notes for 2.6.1, which is the next update that we're supposed to be getting very, very soon. But some of the things that are in are, of course, let's see, the Super Hornet. The revised Super Hornet is going to be in. The Retaliator, the Starfarer, and the 85X had a bit of a pass to improve interior culling and performance, so not exactly too sure what that all entails, but hopefully those ships will get a little bit better. I don't think it's like an interior redesign, just more of a kind of a refactoring of the model and the textures or whatnot. You know, not my area, so that's just my guess. Some of the ship weapon components, the mounts, the ball turrets and whatnot, those have gotten a minor HP buff. So if you found that some, you know, AoE explosions like missiles and whatnot were it was a little too easy to take your guns out. Looks like weapons and you know, the mounting components have gotten a little bit reinforced. Now I'm not sure if that includes engines, because I know a few times on my Saber, close by missile blasts have taken my engines out, or all of a sudden I get engines low, and then the engines stop working. So I don't know if those have been fixed yet, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So the only other really new piece of information that we got is that, of course, the Hurricane is indeed going to be the next concept ship. It is going to be for sale next Friday, so we don't have a price on it yet, but expect an announcement in the ship price thread probably within the next few days. As for what type of ship that's going to be, I'm still going to pull off of the old fact sheet or the old write-up that they gave us a couple of years ago and say it's probably a heavy fighter, a really heavily armed heavy fighter, not so much like how the Vanguard is kind of a more lightly armed long-range fighter. It seems like this thing is probably going to be more of a bruiser. No artwork yet that I've found, but I guess in a week we'll know what we're looking at. Now, there is one other thing this week. Of course, it is the Valentine's sale is going on right now. And the Valentine's Day sale is not exactly that much of a sale. The Vanguard is up for sale at $250, or, you know, because it's Valentine's Day, you can buy two for $500. The 350, the Racer, is $125 or $225 for two of them. So a $25 savings there. The 85X, one for $50 or two for $90. And let's see what else. Oh yeah, the Starfarer G, $340 for one or $620 for two. Which, at that point, well, let me get through the list and I'll say my piece on that. The F7CM, the Super Hornet, which of course is going to be in 2.6.1, the newly refactored Super Hornet, not the Super Hornet that we have now. That is now $180, priced now above the Wildfire. So, yeah, that has gotten really expensive. Now, all these ships come with 6 months insurance. So, in all honesty, unless there is a desperate need for one of these ships, I'd say hold out for the anniversary sale, because chances are a lot of these ships will probably be going for around the same price. And with the anniversary sale, you get years worth of insurance rather than 6 months. But if that doesn't matter to you, if insurance really isn't going to be that big a deal in the PU, then, you know, to each his own. But I would hold off for the anniversary sale. I mean, I always do. That's usually when I do any hangar reorganizing that I have to do. Anyways, that's about it for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. Oh yeah, and by the way, Prospector. Totally called it. That makes up for all the other times I've been wrong.
Quantum travel initiated.